Double check. This looks good. Fine. It should be going to both. Yeah, let's just say it is. All right. I'll screen share to you as well.
Awesome.
Boom. Boom.
Oh yeah. Nyland's Pirate Warriors.
Island Powers. A little different.
A little prettier. Everything looks a little nicer.
A little nicer. Yeah, I mean, it's a little different. I'm sure I could bump it even harder if I wanted to, but it's not good for the stream.
Yeah.
Because if I bump it, I could bump it with a mod that lets me change the resolution.
Interesting.
So let me find a spot on the ship where it'd be more obvious. Probably here. No. It's gonna be on freelog or something. Yeah. So if I that's too so weird. I wish it would stay behind him but not zoom in. Hold down. I don't actually know where some of these go. This just goes to a menu. Let me see. I'll bump it up on script really quick and see what it looks like.
I'm curious.
Let's find out. So boom. Not that one. This one. Cool. Mods. All right. Boom. Resolution. All right. So right now it's 1920 by 1080. That's what it looks like. And then if I bump these up a bit, what is like a good resolution? 2560 by. What's the resolution this game even has natively?
I have no idea.
Okay, so it goes up to 4 normally. But it'll make my window bigger. So let's just copy these. 3840 by 2160. 3840. Oop, it's gonna get weird for a second.
Whoa.
2160. Oop. There. Well, I saved it on accident. What a master class on doing that. Gonna get mad at me for a second. Okay. So back to that. All right, cool. And then what we were doing was 3840, 2160. 3840, 2160. There. So that's 4K. You can see it's like fucking with her hair.
Oh wow. The game doesn't like that.
It doesn't love it. If you go on stage with it, it's like okay if you do, but I can already feel it. Like it's like effing with menus. Yeah, see, it's like.
Ew.
Yeah, it's like, please stop. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
It's like, make everything right again.
Yeah, it's really mad. Okay, 1920, 1080. 1920. 1080.
Let's go, Kobe. Every time I play Kobe, he's more fun than when I last played as him.
Yeah, very good character. Okay, I need to move some stuff. It's gonna get in the way.
Gotcha.
Let's do that. Let's toggle this on so I don't have to think about it. And that's why is that? Alright, cool. Alright.
Awesome.
So this is normally not what I would do. Let's act like I started from the start.
Okay. Let's see the Kobe run.
Warm up a little bit on this. Alright, so there's a kill here. Then usually we turn around and take out whoever's here. It's random, but he does a pretty common target. Then we don't need to worry about anything else. Stop this really quick. So now it's just Sanji.
Die. The way he just tears through people like pieces of paper. It's really legitimately satisfying for a character to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoro's usually here, but sometimes he can get locked up back there. Kind of RNG. If he doesn't get up there in time, we usually are like, oh, reset, I guess. He spends time fighting a random trash mob here.
Yeah.
And then that spawns the two up there. I won't need the FFP for this special, so I should be okay. Oh, they split up. No, they didn't. Okay. Not too bad.
Surprised I didn't even kill him. That did.
What's good? Ah, Zio. Good to see you. He says, what's up, Oclium?
Well, hello there. I'm just along for the ride.
This probably has double audio, right? Let me turn that off. I just realized that. Bad play.
Uh-oh.
It was just double, like... So audio's good. Is it better now, though? It should have... I think it was doubled before. It was playing the game twice, but nothing else twice. Helpful, let me know.
Would you say that Moss Head and Curly Brows is a mission that you enjoy? Like it's fun?
I do, cause FDM. If not, I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, they talk a lot, don't they?
Yeah. They stall you out really bad.
And it happens in under 2 minutes, so it can't beat that fast. Just bashed in his skull. Sometimes I really just enjoy the absurdity of the matchups in this.
Yeah. I wasn't supposed to have that special on.
Oh.
I had it on for a test before.
You're losing time!
I lost so much time. All ruined. Damn, it's been a while. Thanks, CBZ. Yeah, it's been a bit since I've streamed. Probably like 70 years or so. During the great age of piracy.
70 years?
I don't know when the last great age of pirates was.
That's alright. You have this mega hot dragon form. Or whatever.
Yeah. Great that it gets stunned.
Yeah.
You have thicker mustachio and goatee. Yeah, it's a bit thicker. I've trimmed it up a little bit. and the camera's a bit closer than it used to be in the past.
You data mined the characters for this pass, right?
What do you mean? Oh, for
Like
like
you
damage numbers and
were,
stuff?
like you figured out who the characters were.
Yeah, like I was like frame 1. They did a like preamble patch where they were like, they did like a pre-patch, and I jumped in and I was like, oh, I'll check what it is, what's in the pre-patch. They just labeled everything like dummy for DLC or whatever, but in the files, all I did was type in Yamato, because I was like, oh, she shouldn't be mentioned in the original game, so it's an easy search. And I thought it was the most obvious, so I typed Yamato, and then everybody was next to it. In the next patch after, they just encrypted them all, because they were like, ah, whoops. It's like, what do you mean, whoops? You put them in plain text. That's on you. But yeah. Switch flashcard just released today, so I think we'll still be in the Great Age of Piracy. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I was curious because I remember something going around was that like Kaido had a new dragon form. Like there was a new Kaido, and he would come with a new dragon form.
That's true. It was called Dragon 2 in the code, but it ended up just being his air combos. But there's no way I could have predicted that. There's no character in the game really that like changes character midair.
Yeah, there was a lot of very fun speculation about that. I thought for a while that we might actually have a fully playable like magma Kaido dragon, and I thought that would be kind of cool.
I thought
but
something like that might happen, or like we get a different transformation. But they just did what they did. I kind of respect it because, like, what are you gonna do? Just put dragon again with a slightly different moveset on Kaido, and then like try to make that make sense? You could, but I didn't really expect it to work out if they did, so I'm glad they didn't go with that.
Yeah. My friend was also predicting, like, drunk Kaido. Like, he has, like, drunk modes of fighting in the manga, anime. I thought that they were going to incorporate that as some kind of alternate form or something. Like, he drinks a big bottle of booze and starts having a different moveset or something.
That would be crazy. It could have been. I think they... It's tough, actually. Because they could
There's a lot
maybe...
you can do with Kaido.
Yeah, you could do more with them than... I would be surprised because... So, like, Shanks is a weird case because he has, like, an alcohol taunt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm unsure if I myself would expect them to put another alcoholistic character in the game. Bunch of stuff.
Yeah, might get some issues there.
So, like, Shanks was, like, on release, so they have, I guess they have, like, ESRB rating for that, and they don't have to rate ESRB for, DLC most of the time. They say, like, subject to changes or whatever, so if you get a DLC, it has its own rating. So, I suppose...
They would have been, like, very explicitly drunk, so it might have some... implications they have to worry about.
Inebriation's a little different than like, oh, he pulls a swig of alcohol that could be water, and then drinks it.
Special water.
Special water buff. Where's...
He drinks the funny milk from Zelda.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Excellently done, Yamato.
She's pretty good. Her base attack speed kind of feels not great, and her movement speed is kind of weird, but she's good. I feel like a good drunk, so like Kaido being drunk, but with graphic nudity and swearing. Maybe that's different. Not explicit and drunk, but explicitly drunk. So, just very clearly drunk. Learn his words and swinging haphazardly.
Yes!
The fake character, it's not real. Nobody look.
Nobody look. She's only for me.
Oh. Cool. Collision. I don't know if she has the same bug as Redacted or not. I'd have to check on these walls. It'd be good for her if she did, listen. She does.
Which?
Not
Oh,
have it. Oh, she does. Or if you attack these walls, you can do ground moves in the air.
Oh, very interesting. I mean,
It's hard to do because she's not.
Details, but
You can see it like flickering, her form change.
yeah.
But she doesn't do it for long enough. For Redacted, he does it like on all moves for like a full second, so you can attack in any of these walls and transform.
It's very strange, but very cool. He's a very buggy character.
Yeah, a lot of characters in this game can do that, but he just has a really lenient window. And it's useful for him because a lot of his moves don't allow air use. You're only allowed to grind skills. Yeah, that's true. I'm only allowed to use grind skills. So I might be cheating. There's a couple moves that are like soft exploitable, but because her dash is a little bit silly, it's hard to do like these. So like when she does this move, she'll like continue it while a special move is happening, like this. And sometimes she'll complete it even though you didn't input it. So I'll try to show it with this. It didn't work. But yeah, sometimes you can. This move also has it, where the last sound wave will come out without you sometimes. Yeah, I don't know.
Look at it go. Not touching the ground for even a second. Even with the C1 in the air, that's disrespectful.
No, it's a bug with her air C2. So if you do an air C2 on somebody and dash out of it, when she does the no you dash or whatever, it'll do the damage of the whole thing.
Oh yeah, a lot of her moves seem to do that.
Yeah, it's beneficial that it's like very slightly programmed or bugged that way or whatever. So like a couple of her moves can work that way, namely only like C1 or C2, sorry, and C4 sometimes. Like I said, I can't get it to happen enough. It's definitely not like easy, but depending on when you special cancel, sometimes you'll see it.
I see. Oh wow. I was not anticipating Luffy to die there.
Yeah, it's pretty damaging.
It's very deceptive.
Yeah. Like that
And then
zero. I just wish that special could kill instantly. Because it's coded to only kill like the last hit or whatever. And that mostly just sucks for like FFB Logias. Because they'll just transform.
Right.
Inebriated.
You use that dash special. Is it good? Because I want to use it.
I think it's terrible.
No, you just
for the meme.
That's kind of sad. It would be cool to get a really good dash special like that. Don't be a sore loser, Sanji and Zoro.
Don't be a sore loser. I'm only cheating.
I laughed my entire ass off when
Gotta get that checked out.
we like beat Luffy like 8 times in a row in this one game, and the only reason why is that in the middle of it, she offers him like a jug of water. He's like, "Oh man, thanks," and then he always falls for it. Just the
Yeah.
absurdity of 80 times and Luffy doesn't get it. He's so dumb. It's incredible. I love him.
Yeah, he's naive because it's his friend. It's not like she's betraying him. She's
Yeah, she's being
like, he's
friendly.
like, wait, you're just cheating. And she's like, yeah, that's what pirates do. And he's like, I don't agree. Like, Shanks never had to cheat to beat me in something. Like, he just beats me in it. Like, they just see very differently where... And it's interesting, the only reason I don't love it as a quirk is because it feels weird for a music character in specific to, like, cheat through everything.
Oh yeah.
That's my, like,
it's just her
small
playing a little
takeaway.
game.
Yeah. But it's my small takeaway from it because you feel like her adopted father kind of guy, right? Is like Mozart, Beethoven based or whatever. That guy,
Yeah.
like, it feels like he tried his heart out to be a good father, to be useful and helpful and everything. And he kind of gets
Right.
screwed over for playing it straight and trying to teach her how to be, like, a genuinely strong individual, and he believes in her. But then she just kind of is like, yeah, I just cheat all the time, and...
I'm gonna
Like, all
do
this
what I
stuff, and
want,
it's like-
no matter what it takes.
Yeah, and so she comes off very poorly, which is intended. She's the villain of the movie. So, like, I
Yeah.
don't mind it, but it was a very clearly, like, I guess, the opposite intrinsic factor I would expect in a character that's all about music is like, oh, well, it's very measured. When you can play it very wild, she doesn't. But, like, I just thought it was
Yeah.
interesting when I watched the film. I was like, huh, what an interesting character to, like, pick those two qualities and put them together. Because I would have thought...
She likes to play it clean.
Yeah, I thought it would be more, almost like more interesting. Of course, it wouldn't make sense to be a competitor to Luffy in this way. But the whole, like, when I was a kid, I just cheated like 80 times to beat Luffy thing. It would almost have been funnier if it was reversed. Where Luffy
Luffy
kind of
was
like
cheating.
cheated a little bit, and he's like, "Wow, it's a pirate," and then she's like, "Well, like, does a pirate like a true pirate like Shanks doesn't have to cheat or whatever, right?" And then he gets all upset. Like, you could reverse that relationship, and it would be believable. Not that that necessarily happens, because the only other time we get like these type of games with Luffy is in the Davy back fight, but those are very
Yeah.
cheaty as well, and Luffy's not necessarily cheating. He is getting cheated against a little bit, but it's not a very like cohesive plot element that there's cheating involved in the Davy back fights. Like, it is
Yeah.
a thing, but it's not like that focused upon. Like, Luffy's not going, "Hey, that's unfair," like the whole fight.
Yeah.
So it just
He
seemed
seems to-
weird coming off that. It didn't even seem like the same Luffy. I was like, what?
He seems to just kind of like embrace the unfairness of it. I remember in the Katakuri fight, one moment that always stuck out to me is when he gets hit with the poison dart, and Katakuri was like, "I'm sorry, that was really unfair." And Luffy's like, "Nah, it's cool because it's a pirate fight, and you just do what you do."
Yeah, that's true.
He seems to just, maybe it's just from experience that he understands it's important to roll with the punches. Sometimes something unfair will happen,
Yeah.
or pirates play dirty.
Pirates cheat. Yeah, I agree. The Conqueror's thrust super or special super sick. It replaces so I guess Screwblade, right? It works really similarly. Like, I think both are usable in the air, but this one's like bigger and has a projectile on it, and it takes less time. They're mathematically about the same, but this one's kind of just better. Because he has his other two. Power Wave is similar. It doesn't function identically. So, like, Shanks Red's Power Wave, he slashes, slams, and then it does damage like 3 times. Like, slash, wave, and then eruption. Whereas Power Shanks, I think it hits twice. It's just slash wave. In some ways, that's better. I haven't looked into it hard enough for Power Shanks. Because it's more, like, quick. But you could just do the wave in this and dash out of the way, and it's similar. So, yeah. I keep peeking my microphone. But yeah, that's... Power Shanks' stuff is good, too. Yeah, I'd rather have this than Screwblade, and... His other special looked identical to me, basically. The Scarlet Hammer, Crimson Hammer, whatever it's called. It's very similar.
Feeling like DLC today, huh?
Yeah, I haven't played it on stream before.
Ah, yeah.
That's
Going
one
and
of those
getting it out of the way.
Yeah. Take out the flame one and bring out the gun. Yeah, bring back his gun, you know?
I love the gun.
I'm 50-50. I actually wish he had some of his attack animations from Pirate Warriors 3, primarily in his like triangle string. I liked his like Yaido quick cut stuff, and it seems like it's relevant to his current moveset and like the lore. So it'd be cool to bring some of those moves back. They also look very different than what we have in the game currently with Oliver Swordsman.
Yeah, I've heard that sentiment a lot. It's definitely very cool for Shanks. The god of lightning. I just feel the joy radiating off of Luffy when he just cackles happily while fighting these people.
Yeah.
He's gotta break up the fight between Sanji and Zoro by throwing bolts of lightning at them. I love how instant that is.
Yeah, it's a very good special. Cackle at him.
I like how, you know how every character has their own, like, One Piece, Kaizoku So 4 title, intro, voice line?
Yeah.
I like how this version of Luffy, it's like explicitly Gear 5 saying it.
C4. Is it the Conquer Burst? Or is it the Lightning? I don't remember actually. Sorry, I was asked a question. Oh, the extension on a C4. I don't remember. Fixing the sword in the ground. Oh, this. Yeah, it reminds me of this, yeah. I agree, this is a cool move. I would have put this on instead of the, like, corruption they gave him, but obviously they're trying to make everything different looking.
I have a big soft spot for this iteration of Shanks still.
It's more or less stronger than the other one if you're just trying to deal damage. Because you have, like, this or whatever.
He's so beefy.
Yeah, where'd the other person was supposed to take out go? What the heck? They, like, walked away at the start.
Huh.
He bursted while in burst. What a weirdo.
He's going absolutely super.
Super and super.
Not even using his hockey buff. Don't even need it.
Yeah, if you're just like love how that builds 0 meter. Okay. He was doing like Higher Order's 3 move. It's not even in this game anymore.
That's fascinating.
I forget what his best meter build move is. Might be like this actually. That's not. Is it this? Yeah, I guess it is. Just
I
depends
vaguely
on,
recall
like,
you telling me that.
yeah, it should be. I just wanted to double check because I was like, a lot of characters see 2s in the air are really, really strong, but his isn't particularly that.
Just shooting him with the gun. I swear it's gotta be a reference to chapter 1.
I mean, he
And
has
the
a
way-
gunshot in the previous game too, where he shoots up. So they want him to have something like that for some reason.
They just really like the idea of Shanks having a gun. And I do too, honestly. I think it's just because every member of his crew seems to have a gun. It's just, he needs to have one too.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree that Film Red's weird by having so many dive attacks in the air. He has 3, I think. Almost like every aerial is a dive. Let's count them. I think it's 3 or 4. I think it's only the teleport one that saves. So you got C1. Dives. Yep, so it's 4 of them. Dive. Dive. No dive. But at the end it might. I think
Let's
it does
see.
at the end. It does. So
Yep.
it's 5. And then even his just ender dives. It's literally 6 moves. It's every aerial that dives.
He's seriously a diver in this.
Yeah. None of his enders end up keeping him in the air.
It's very interesting.
There are a couple, like... Yeah, 6 dives, I don't know. Yep, exactly. There are a couple characters in this game with, like, weird things that people don't really notice that are pretty interesting. Like, this is probably true for, I think, all of the brothers, but it's easy to show off with Yonji. So, like, something a lot of people don't really realize with characters in this game, and I think it's important to know, is let's say there's this move, for example, his, like, C2. We could see it just slaps them all, right? And if I do a continuation, it slaps them twice. If I do the final hit, right? If I do the final hit, it smashes, right? You can see all of them fly backwards. But that's not true of every move in the game. For example, his C2, it does a tackle, but it doesn't, or C3, sorry. Does a tackle, but there's no smash. The second hit does a punch, and then the final hit does the spin, and then smashes again. So the enders only have smashes, right? This is not the case for his drill. This is a smash. The extension of the drill is a smash. And the extension of the drill is longer, but it is also a smash. So this means, like, you can just do the first part with all the damage on it, with the glitchy damage, and have it smash at the end.
That's crazy.
And you don't do the mash because what's the point? It does, like, no damage. I mean, he's a sky type, so, like, there's not many other moves, but we can see this one's not gonna smash. We see this is not gonna smash. We see this one at the end smashes. So, like, some characters have these, some don't, but it's also kind of good to know which moves on your character, like, have certain attributes. So, like, this one smashes. You can always tell smash because they'll have that, like, sound wave or shock wave or whatever when they get hit. Or they get flung backwards. They deal damage to people they fling through. But he's just, like, a good unit to express that, like, mechanic. And I think a lot of people don't realize this exists. I would show it off with Whitebeard, but I have a no-girl Whitebeard. But A lot of characters in this game can stop moves a bit early and have like way better moves. I'm trying to think of a couple. A good example of this. Probably a power type. I mean, we could try to show it with this. BB, Blackbeard? Kinda. So, like, Shanks, this move. So, one hit is this. The extension off of this is this slash. And the extension is this lightning. This looks like a mashing attack, but if I mash it, it doesn't add any slashes. This is a great example of one where there is no functionality change to the mash, but a lot of other characters in this game will have alternative options based off of this function. It looks like he actually has none. This is a great example of somebody who doesn't have any. I'm trying to think of somebody else with a attack where they like you can mash to add extensions to it. Where if you cancel it, it does way more damage. There's a couple of them.
Where he like creates the like small black hole that can travel around the field.
You're talking about Blackbeard's carpet? You can like just let it go. I'm trying to think of be on any of these sky types. Speed types. And it might be on some sky types, like a Reiju, I guess, but I don't think Reiju's, for example, could be cancelled early. BX special does the same damage if you cancel early. Which special? You're talking about the one where he does like the vortex? So like this doesn't smash at the end. Yeah. So it's like doesn't matter if you want to mash it, basically it's the same damage. One where he juggles. Didn't have any. Juggles. He has two specials where he stays in the air. He has one where he throws 3 blade waves, and he has one where he like creates a vortex, cylindrical vortex in front of him. If I remember correctly. Yeah, the vortex, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I dash out of it all the time. Damn, why is it hard to remember? Should be a few of these types of moves in the game. A lot of them are because of Pirate Warriors 3, so usually it's not on new characters. Weird. I think he has one.
Oh yeah, he has the multi-hit.
So like...
I think there's 2 of them actually.
Count the amount of these left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, they just coded them separately. But have to be performed. That one. So we can see like he's forced to shoot 2, but then he can just go to the under. Whereas if you mash this move, it's much worse.
Yeah.
because all the damage is loaded. You lose like a lot of damage on the second extension, but because that extension is so slow otherwise, ideally, wait, oh, that one's like really tight. Yeah, this doesn't have any. Yeah, so you get like a couple moves in the game that are like this, where it's like, oh, just stop mashing immediately, and then like wait a second, and then do a continuation. And it's weird. How many of these exist that are like this? But are pretty impactful. Trying to think. I think Fuji has a couple. I know it shouldn't be on his. Huh?
Kizaru have one?
Kind of. He does with his finger point. It's just really, really hard. It's like really demanding. It's really good, but it's just really like annoying. So it's this one.
Right.
You can do. So it's just really strict, the timing. So that's what it is. You can't like wait until he stops the animation is the annoying part for when he points his finger. So if I pressed it there, it didn't work. You have to just time it. Like I'm counting 1, 2, and then I press it. I'm waiting out like the timer for when the game considers it a continuation.
Right.
I just press this twice and then wait a second and then pop it. And that's way better than letting the whole thing ride. Like, imagine I'm trying to kill these guys in the back here with just this part. Look at that. It's like, that wasn't great. But if I had done, you know, or whatever, finger pointed, I can get a kill faster. It's crazy that he just walked under me. But, yeah, unfortunately, Kizaru doesn't have a lot of these. Like, this one would be something, but it just finishes, so it's not a problem. This one is really, really long.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's no like pieces to it. See, I tried to delay it and it just went no. So, all of this would matter more if, like, this was a really good move with Kizaru, but it's not. Instead, this is the best move. So it's like, doesn't require any real thought to like the activation.
The big 3 booms.
Right when your moves do 0 damage.
Yeah.
I do actually use that one, but it's not because it's particularly good.
It's across the beams.
It's because the you can like launch the beam from it and then like run away. To like make it kind of work, like you could do this and like imagine you run away. There's not very much reason to use it, but it's better than this most of the time.
Let's see. Doesn't seem to have fantastic specials. I've tried to find like a good build. Like I was wondering if I was missing some kind of hidden like god build for Kizaru, but I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, no, it's just this combo is really good, and then like that's it. So it's not like his moves aren't bad. He has a lot of decent moves. They're just terrible. He just doesn't have a special, good set of specials.
Yeah.
So I namely don't use them because they're just taking time and they don't do enough DPS. He can beat all of his specials multipliers by pressing square square triangle. So it's like, do I do that or do I do a cutscene? And the cutscene answer would be, well, I have deadly cadence or something, and like, oh, that'll give me iframes. Like that's basically the reason. But otherwise, not really. I'm trying to double check because I think I'm not using full specials on him. Yeah. Like. Like that. Maybe this is fine. But yeah, like we have this, which is not good. We have this, which is a cutscene. This, which is a cutscene. So it's like our only alternative here would be to use this.
It really needs more. Like, it's sorry, you could totally come up with more.
And so we have this, which we already were using, and we have this now. But it's like, wow, that's great. So I can try to show off like the damage on these while on FFB for the extra bonus, but like, look at that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's gonna get much done.
Like, wow, he lived from 2 special moves. On the flip side, I could do this, right? And he died. And it cost me nothing. Not that that necessarily matters. But it's also like very front-loaded. So like,
Clear.
yeah. So you can do that with it. And then dash out of it, which you can't do as easily with other things. See, they just die. So like, it's more stable. I was kind of hoping that this this special where he does the, not this one, where he does this flash, you can see it's like stunning people. If it did that dizzy through armor.
Oh yeah, something like flash dial.
Yeah, cause it does that in Pirate Warriors 3 and 2.
It makes sense.
It like goes through. I mean, there's not really armor to the same degree, but like, it works more efficiently later in those games, and I'm always like, well,
yeah. Me and my friend have a running joke about the dubbed version of the Sabaody arc. Well, it's such a dumb joke. I don't even know what about it appeals to us. But what, like, when basically the scene is Scratchman Apu does his thing and he like cuts up Kizaru with what is his ability, and it's just a giant explosion on Kizaru's top half, and that itself is kind of funny. And he just like falls really slowly. He's like, "Oh man!" And then after Apu is like running away, Kizaru just stands there and he goes, "Ah, I know. I'll use my Yata mirror." And then he does it.
yeah.
And something about that quote is just like tickled us so much. So anytime like Kizaru is ever in the conversation, at least one of us goes, "I'll use my Yata mirror."
Yeah, it's a funny line. Yata mirror is a good move. But yeah, like you mentioned Frankie nipple lights. Like this move's actually good. Like imagine that the Murakuma move worked this way, where you went, boom. Look at him. He fell over.
Yeah.
Like he
You
got
could not
stunned.
believe it.
Look at the animation. It hard stuns him. It's a 1-star, and it killed that guy.
It killed that guy. It was blindingly.
Like this move is good.
Brighter than Kizaru.
This is the right type of move to convert into a special move. Look at him. He falls over. Like that's a super useful move. That's why I use it.
You're a Frankie nipple light user.
Yeah, look at it. What is he gonna do? Look, he fell over. He said
That's really
Kokukarada.
funny.
He's like, there's no way. What the hell? blown away. But yeah, like Frankie has one of the better air dashes in the game too. So it's like you just fly over here and just, hey Zoro, boom. Look at him. He has to fall over now. He gives you, especially with a character like this where it's like maybe you're a little slow or whatever. The fact that you can stun people who have armor up, might I add. Like I can loop armor on this Luffy. Like where's
Mr. Zero?
Oh my gosh. I'm getting like beat up again. Where's, I thought his nipple light is C4, right? Am I crazy? No, it's C3 miss. I think it's C3 miss to do nipple light, right? I have to miss this. Yeah. Wait, no wait. Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. They hid that shit so you couldn't do it. But yeah, if you land this move, where it is the light, it will stun people.
Somehow that way.
If you don't grab people who are inside walls. Luckily he's not one of those characters that slows down when he gets near other enemies.
What's the Muso special you run?
Frankie Cannon.
I see. I always wondered which one of those was the best. I know the other one was pretty decent, like armor, like hitting ability, whatever you want to call it. You also have that.
Yeah. I rarely use the cutscene move unless I feel like I'm in a situation where I need it.
Right. You just don't want to take that time.
Ow.
It's a nipple kill.
Oh yeah. Like, big thing in this game, very subtle thing, especially in the frame, or in the speedrunning sense, is if your character slows down when they air dash near enemies. Because that's such a subtle but insanely important thing in this game. Because you'll be like, oh, I need to go from A to B. And your character will go, what if I just don't move? Like, a good example is Luffy. Where you just jump in the air and press dash and he goes, I guess I'll move 0 feet. I could show this pretty consistently, but like, look at this. Like,
oh, that's really gross.
yeah, he must stop enemies, so he will just lose all momentum. So if you were trying to jump around, like imagine this. Like, look how bad that is. He just can't. So he must do full dashes, or he must run on the ground and dash, which is fine. But he basically has to do this. And look, if there's no enemies nearby, he does that. So it's like, wait, why doesn't he do that all the time? Like, this would be a decent dash to have if it worked like this all the time. It's slowing down because these enemies exist. But like, they just don't count as alive. But yeah. And so you can't do that. I still love that his hat becomes tiny.
Tiny hat. His head got inflated.
Yeah, head big. So like, instead, I just run like Rocket Man or whatever and just do this.
Wee.
Which is really fast. But because of that, you can just dash out of everything, do this, get over here, hit them all, cutscene if you want. Don't really need to because they're slow. But if you feel like you're going to run out of your mode and it's going to stun you anyway, you might as well. And then, yeah, you just get to move like this with really, really good control, you know, 360s. And I can get to wherever I need to go. Transform back, transform anyway, you know?
Absolutely body Zoro. Damn, hit him like Doflamingo.
Exactly. Does he have air combos for Snake Man? What do you mean? Well, Snake Man's a weird character because he's not a real... He's like a fake speed type, right? He's a speed type that's in the air and has no ground string. Or you could argue he has no air string? I don't know what you would argue. I think it's more accurate to say he has no ground string. He's a sky type. He's in the air at all times and then has a normal ground combo, but it counts as being in the air, I'm pretty sure, for top of the world. So he has a 9-hit air string or whatever. Like the only character in the game like that. Because if you hit jump while you're playing as Snake Man, I'm pretty sure he just glides higher. So yeah, he's a weirdo.
Alright, who's next?
That's a tough one, actually.
No one's specifically speaking to you?
No, I was messing around with... I was interested because Buggy has a bug. I don't know if it's just a bug in the patch or if it's a bug for fun memesters. Top of the world. Oh, what I meant. Ooh, Jatter. Rage. So if you look at his meter gain on this really quick for me. That looked normal.
Yeah.
Conventionally speaking. But look at this. That didn't happen this time. That's so weird. Occasionally when you do that move and you do the can-can moves off of it, the can-can will build 200% of every bar. Like, it will build all of them to absolute maximum, like, within a millisecond. I'll try to replicate it, but it's like... Yeah, it's not doing it. That's so weird. It was happening on the whole Cake Island stage for me. I mean, it's still building good meter, but it's... Before, it was building me, like, so much that I was doing, like... I was doing dive and then doing, like, this over and over again. And it was, building, like, insane bar. I wish that these arm deploys stayed out during his cutscenes. It'd be pretty insane. He would just be like jumping, and then he would do this, and then he would do this cutscene move, and then he would still build bar or something.
Zoro's never felt more humiliated.
I'm sure he felt pretty humiliated when Buggy stabbed him in the kidney. He had the injury, and then he had to fight like Mihawk, and then he was like, "Oh man, if not for this injury,
I could have done it.
Could have done it at the start."
I love how strangely good Buggy is in this.
He's really good, yeah. Like he does everything you need him to. He just shoots this thing, I guess. Boop. And then if you want to feel more, you can just go for this.
Oh my men. Yanji was like, let me get a piece of that.
Yeah, he was like, oh, we should get in here.
It's like, I'm on your team, Buggy.
Carrot's so long supposed to be a form change? I would say no. It was not supposed to be a form change. Some people think it should have been or was supposed to be or any of those things. That's just untrue. They didn't, because the size of the model is like taller than Carrot, and they didn't really want to like readjust all of her moves to like be capable with attaching to it without being very glitchy. And because Sulong didn't really have moves to use, they just deferred to not having it at all. Which I don't dislike them for doing it. Obviously, it was like, you know, I understand people when they say, hey, why doesn't she have this? Like, it's super cool, it'd make her a better character, all these things. All those things are factual. But they definitely did not, like, set up for her to have it or anything. People say the same thing about, like, Monster Chopper. It's probably similar, where they made the new giants, and Monster Chopper would make sense, but there's probably a lot of collision issues with him, because he's significantly, like, weirder, like, bulkier and lengthier than most characters, and so if you imagine, like, trying to jump around and dash as Monster Chopper, it probably wouldn't feel very good. Now, the Wano version of Monster Chopper is a little different, like, it looks a bit different than the one we have in the game. So maybe that one could maybe work. But they would have to rebuild stages. There's already a lot of problems in this game with stages. Like, imagine playing, like, Farida, right? And being, like, Monster Chopper height the whole time. Like, I'll try to, like, do this. So, like... everybody's like, wait, why is he using that? Don't worry about it. Okay. Like...
Get him, Chopper.
How to get Gear 5 in Nintendo? You just play the Switch version and get the DLC for the Onigashima pack.
You have to beat Super Mario Galaxy with no damage.
You gotta do something crazy. No, yeah, it's downloadable content. You have to pay for it. So like an example is this doorway. It doesn't work for this doorway is too big for Kaido to fit through in dragon form, for example. He barely fits through it in normal form, to be fair. Now Kaido is really tall. But let's use this transformation for comparison. So we would be at least this big, if not bigger. We'd have to move around as this form. And they're already shrinking it for this cutscene, right? Clearly, that's not Monster Chopper's actual height. They just decided, like, hey, we'll use the Pirate Warriors, like, 3 cutscene version of its height. Because back then, all giants were, like, 10 feet tall. Instead of 26 feet tall, like Kaido. If you look at Kaido near this doorway, you're gonna notice a lot of, like, flaws.
Oh, yeah.
So, we go over to this doorway. We can already see Kaido's kind of an issue. Like, he can walk through it, barely, but he can. And if he turns into a dragon, he can't. Like, he can't get through this. It won't let him. You can kind of get through with, like, a weird glitch where you do, like, his dash and then you attack or whatever. I forget what it is. Like, he has a way of, like, barely getting through with, like, a spinning dash or something. Where the game will try to pop him backwards. But as you can see, this is an issue. And this issue doesn't remedy itself by being indoors. it's still everywhere indoors. So let me do this again. Now I pop this again, right? Like, lag everywhere, right? I create this thing, the camera's like, please stop. I can like barely get through these hallways, and then I try to get to this room and, oh, he died, but what the fuck happened? You know, like, oh, I'm here, and there's
You're
this.
on the second floor.
Yeah, well, it puts you on the second floor anyway, but like, it's just, you can see this doesn't make sense. Like, it looks weird. It's clipping through the ceiling. There's doorways like this one where you can't enter it, or this one over here where you can't enter it. So like, he can't play the stage as it was designed.
The God of Ice.
So like,
That's really funny.
yeah.
That's how sudden that is.
And so yeah, you'll kind of see that happen a lot, where it's like, well, okay, it can't fit, and that's not just like a Kaido only problem. It's mostly a Kaido only problem because it's Dragon form, but it happens with like Big Mom's transformation too. It's just a frustrating problem. So when they made Chopper, I'm sure they were thinking, well, unlike Kaido, Chopper is a character in story mode, and you play him in Whole Cake Island primarily, just a lot of tight corridors and like a forest. And they're probably thinking, you play him, like, really just here, on this stage. You can see the blue characters are who you can play as a lot of the time. Not always. But he tends to be in this arc a lot. And so, you would basically, like, your first major time playing him is probably here. And you would be like, oh, I turned into Gear 4 or Giant Chopper, and then you're just rudely awakened with a character that's probably about the same height as Kaido. And he's just like, oh, I can't go anywhere. Like, imagine you started in the stage of your Monster Chopper. You're like, oh yeah, this doorway. You'd probably just be like, oh, I can't move through it. Like, to give a kind of a visual for this. Right, so I pop this. Imagine you're this big. You're Monster Chopper. You're like, let's play, guys! Oh, wow, I barely fit through this tree line. Oh, cool. Like, I'm gonna go through these trees or whatever. Like, like you can just see it's just not great. And I'm sure they had to redesign a lot of this for us so that, like, they might have even been thinner in development, you know? And they were like, we're playing these stages, and you could see, like, a lot of the time, it's like pushing Kaido around. Because he's like jamming himself into areas, and then the game's like, push him out. There's already a lot of protections in this game, but it's already hard enough to see as is without these trees everywhere. See? Like, it's just not fun. So, that's what it is. Okay, you're asking this twice? I assume you're joking. I said how to do it. If I see a third post, I'm gonna do something.
He's gonna do something. I can't help but also think about how Dragon Kaido was scaled down for this game. Like, in canon, it's like 10 times as large.
He's 26 feet tall, so yeah, he's pretty tall. Like, Whitebeard is 22. He's 26.
I'm talking about the dragon itself.
Oh, the dragon's like really big, yeah. Monster
Yeah.
Chopper's also really big too. I don't know his actual height, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was also like 24, 25, something like that. It's probably pretty large. But in case you didn't hear, Jenny, if you're on Nintendo Switch, you get the DLC in the eShop. So you go to the eShop, you get it. It costs money. You get Onigashima Pack, which includes Onigashima Luffy, Half-Beast Kaido, Yamato. You purchase it for $. You go back in the game. They should appear as playable. If that doesn't work for you, then you got robbed by Nintendo. You file that with Nintendo, but it shouldn't happen. Big Mom scaled down to, yes, that's true. They're probably picking like a size that would be playable, that wouldn't be too like much of a problem. A lot of stages in this game where you're like indoors and they're just like, yeah, I don't know. Like there's like stairs in this stage. Imagine you're trying to go up the stairs in this stage. Right? You just spawn in, you're like, dang, I wanna climb these stairs right here. Like already a tight fit. He starts clipping up the staircase and down the staircase. Just by like walking sideways, he's like, I guess I'll step over. I know Whitebeard steps over these. They made him pretty late in development. A lot of the giants are pretty late in development. They probably had to rescale a lot of the game when they did that. They made stages smaller, bigger, etc. all over the place. The easiest way to do it would be to just shrink or increase the size of stages. So a good example is like on this stage, like, I don't know if necessarily the ceiling is supposed to go this high in Eni's lobby, because they have to get giants through or something. But like, look at how big this looks, right? This looks like they just grabbed the stage and just went 1.5x, right? Like we try to use comparisons. These are really, really tall walls.
Yeah.
And ceilings. Like these gateways are so tall that they're like 40 feet tall. They're more than 40 feet tall gateways.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Like the architecture feels like almost like surreal and how gigantic it is.
Like this is obviously not how Eni's lobby is. It doesn't have random pits, but and stuff. But yeah, like, you can't even jump down the staircase as a giant. It's blocked.
Whoa.
If I was a normal character, you can just jump.
Look at him go.
So like, you live from game design. Game is very mad at me. Like, did some wacky stuff and kept Aqua alive.
Interesting. Their death is assured all the same. He's just so fast. It's crazy. He's like a comet swinging across these things. And thank God too, because this is a big stage. The way he steps on them like ants. That full force burst is really lasting you. Imagine if Whitebeard was at Eni's lobby. Dish out all of this.
Yep. Speed type Whitebeard, no extensions lol. Yeah, more or less. I'm using no grow Whitebeard. So that I can get faster C4s. One of the only characters in the game that like it's just like a good improvement because you get access to really far-reaching special moves. A good example of like why this special move mattered was in this stage. We don't use this strat anymore because we can one-shot like Smoker with a dash. But was on this stage you would do, you used to dash forward, hit Smoker, and then you would shoot a C4 at this building and it would break and it would cause this leader to spawn. And right here you can see this guy spawns 121 meters away and he dies. So like that's where it mattered, is because it hit just far enough that you could, that move basically goes 120 meters exactly. And then you would shoot a C4 down this too. You'd clear this one out like this. A guy would spawn after the third guy dies. That guy dies on spawn. This guy spawns here and we'd reach up here, kill this guy, go back over here, clear this out for Usopp, and then dash through the, turn it off, usually dash through the guys. Throw this over here to hopefully wipe out some of the guys that are blocking Sanji and Zoro. Once Sanji and Zoro get to this doorway, these guys spawn. There's one more, so I'm gonna collider him so he dies on spawn. And then we wouldn't kill that leader, I fucked up. But you would keep that leader alive, you would kill Tashigi, you would kill the leader, which would make all three of these depot spawners instantly spawn. So you wouldn't have to wait for them to come out. See, I'm like waiting for them. And then you would run over here, touch the point to trigger the end, and then pop an impossible feat and end the stage.
Damn. Are you familiar with JoJo at all in any way?
Yeah. I'm not caught up with like JoJo lands or anything, but that's it.
Yeah. One of my favorite YouTube videos is could Whitebeard stop the could Whitebeard stop the Poochie plan or the Heaven plan?
I mean, it'd be pretty easy, right? Like they can't put him in jail.
I forgot what the parameters he was used. It was such a funny concept. Like, if Whitebeard was there, would he be able to stop? He basically kept saying, like, all right, so he would stop him here, but if he didn't, could he stop the next part?
Yeah. Okay, there. The autofocus freaked out. Yeah, that'd be weird. Whitebeard's weird because he's just really strong and his AoEs are too big, like as a character in a fantasy. So like, it's like, oh, he's in the prison. He punches the ground, the prison breaks. Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair. Like, the stuff in One Piece is like designed to try to not break when he punches, but the stuff in that world is designed for humans. So like, him stepping on the floor with force would rip the prison apart.
Yeah, I think he also. I'm pretty sure he also went with like the contingency that he couldn't know what was going on. Like, he wouldn't know any more than like the main characters would. Like, he would sort of figure things out naturally.
Sure, but it's just weird because of how big he is in that world. It's like,
yeah, it's
like he's a 22 foot tall man in a prison. And it's like, yeah, what is he going to do? It's like, I mean, he's a 22 foot man in a prison. What are they going to do? Are they going to shoot on him at sight? Because what I think is going to happen is going to pull Gats on him on sight and shoot him. And then he's going to kill them all. That's what I think will happen. Which means that he stops the plan on accident.
On accident? Yeah, Poochie's going to just get stepped on.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He also proposed the possibility that maybe Poochie can use a White Snake to take his Devil Fruit power, but it's just like too up in the air to determine.
The problem is OBS hockey.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd be like, he would detect danger. Whether or not it's that noticeable to him is a different problem. But he would be like, oh, something doesn't feel right, and he would probably like strike it and kill it. I mean, the only thing you could argue is the stand intangibility thing, but then you can soft argue reverse things like, well, doesn't hockey attack the will? And I don't know. It just becomes weird. Because people will always use power equalization to make that stuff not, like, so problematic. And if we're using power equalization, then yeah, he just detects the ghost and slams his fist into it, kills it instantly, and then Poochie dies. It's just too easy to accidentally kill Whitesnake in that context, and then Poochie dies. And then the plan can't go.
Exactly.
Yeah, you basically have to contact his head. Because it doesn't seem like Whitesnake just, like, takes your... That's the other problem, is, like, Whitesnake has to reach onto the head of a 22-foot tall giant. It's not...
Yeah.
Whitesnake doesn't have a really far range. I think it's maybe, like, 2 meters, 3 meters? That's not even tall enough to reach him. Like, if Poochie was standing at his foot, Whitesnake wouldn't reach high enough if it's a 3-foot... If it's a 3-meter stand. So 3 meters is roughly, like, about... It's close to Whitebeard's height. So he would have to stand at Whitebeard's foot to have Whitesnake reach his head. And that means he's in range of getting hit from anything.
Say that, yeah, he would be vulnerable.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not realistic. And then it's extra funny when he just goes cocky and then, like, the whole prison falls over. Like, sure, maybe, let's say, Joe, like, stand users wouldn't pass out. But that still helps a lot. Like, the whole prison falls apart. And then Poochie's like, what the hell just happened? It's like a 22-foot tall, like, giant is in the prison courtyard. He's like, what?
How'd they get that guy?
And then he's gonna have to, like, deal with that. He's gonna be like, I guess it's a stand power, and I want that disc so that I don't get killed right now. And then he goes to attack Whitebeard, and Whitebeard goes, no, I see that coming. And he punches the air, and it cracks, and then Poochie dies. Like, even if he's far away, Poochie dies, because it just destroys everything in, like, a multi-mile radius. And the prison would just fall on Poochie and smush him. It's not like he has extra strong durability.
Yeah. It just stands out so much in that universe.
Yeah, it'd be different if
very different anime.
If we switch it, like you're Usopp or something. Like, you would be a little weird looking in the prison, that's about it. But, like, overall, he'd be like, why am I in prison? Like, what did I do? Did I get caught? Like, where's Luffy? Where's my guys? Right? And then...
we have to go with the story and everything.
And then there's, like, something that could happen. Like, I don't think Usopp would discover Poochie's plan and stop him fast enough. As amazing as Usopp is. That's just a weird scenario for him.
Yeah.
But, like, any weird-looking character, there's a much higher chance that something weird happens. So your Choppers or Frankies or Brook. Now it's like, oh, something comes to them, which instigates Poochie into killing them. And then... I think Poochie could sweet-talk somebody like Luffy, but again, it's just funny that Poochie has an alternative death condition, which is that Poochie sweet-talks him, and then his Whitesnake tries to attack Luffy. Luffy senses it, moves out of the way, and punches the ghost and kills it. And then Poochie falls over dead. And it's like, well...
He was not ready for that gum pistol.
Yeah. I wouldn't be either. If I just look at this man, and he's on the street, and he's like, yo, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, buddy, like... why are you here? And he's like, I don't know, I got lost. I don't see any of my crewmates. Crewmates? I'm a pirate. Oh, weird. Well, this is dolphin prison, I guess, so I guess that kind of works, but, like, yeah, you're in the wrong place, buddy. He's like, okay, and he leaves. And Poochie goes, Whitesnake, attack him. And then he sneaks up, and he gets punched in the head and dies, and then Poochie falls over limp, and then it's like, well, I guess he stopped the plan on accident.
From some random guy on the street who's supposed to be a pirate. He could have never seen that coming.
Yeah, it's not very possible. Same thing as Zoro, but worse. It's like, Zoro's a terrifying looking man. If he's walking around this prison lost as hell, like, the only way Poochie wins against these characters is, like, leaving them alone.
Yeah.
Because then they'll just get lost doing nothing.
Disengaged.
Yeah, one sec. All right, I'm back. Um, yeah, I think it's just silly. I don't really expect anything from most of them. Some of them are pretty terrifying, but like I said, most of them just have. Yeah, anybody who doesn't have obs dies. Everybody who has obs has a high chance of doing something, and then because Pucci's gonna enact a plan on them.
Yeah,
Pucci
his best choice is
does.
just disengage. I think he
Yeah,
does that for most of it too. He just tries to stay away from everyone.
he does, which is why I think he has a decent chance against some of them because he can just send like his cohorts. Like, hey, like, check out who that weird guy is and tell me what's going on, and then they die. The problem with Whitebeard specifically is, like, Whitebeard collaterals the entire prison, and it kills Pucci anyway. That's the problem. Same with Kuzan. Kuzan just freezes the prison. And nobody has hockey to break out, and even if their ghost can move during the hockey, it's like... Or, sorry, their ghost can move during the freeze, it's like, well, I don't know. Did you know we were getting new DLC before it got announced last July? Not necessarily. Sort of, but not necessarily. So, the first time they put the update in the game, I knew immediately. When I just saw an update running, like, I'm like, oh, there's an update coming. Weird. That's when I was like, I guess we're getting characters. Because on, like, SteamDB and stuff, it told us before, I think, the July update. Like, it kind of, like, mentioned, like, oh, the QA started again. Well, that's weird. Why would they do that? So that, you know, when QA was like, oh, yeah, we'll push another update or whatever, that's when I thought, oh, this is kind of weird. But they put out 2 updates, I think. They put out one, and that had all the leaked stuff in it that I grabbed. And they put out another after, which happened to have, like, Jinbei and all that stuff. Yo. Yo, buddy, what up?
I remember seeing like the ads for Gear 5 Luffy back in the summer, and how surreal it was for after 2 years, DLC was actually happening in the game again.
Yeah.
It just like felt so surprising.
No, it's certainly surprising. Boredom, yeah, that makes sense. It's pretty funny. Did you have a long day? Because this is pretty late for you. Or I guess it's not that late. You must have just finished up. Let's see this dive. Aw, damn. And second.
Ace is just ridiculous.
Yeah, they just messed up the dive. They're like, what about if the dive does 23 damage every hit on the way down? It's like, 23, what? I think you mean 14. And he's like, no, 23. Top chill day, ended up doing a bunch of chores because LARP was canceled. Oh yeah, because it's Saturday, I'm done. That makes sense. That sucks that LARP was canceled, right? Because of rain, probably. Chores like driving chores or chores around the house? Even have him set so weird. Doesn't really matter because he's broken, but yep, rain and mud, cleaning room, putting stuff to shopping. Yeah, fair enough. Are you gonna pick up that Grand Blue game on the 2nd or the 1st of February? Like sort of Monster Hunter hack and slashy meme, 4-player co-op online. I'm picking it up on PC.
I was being difficult there.
Yeah, he's weirdo, wacky mode. Maybe we'll have to check out my funds. Yeah, yeah. If your funds work out, it'd be really cool. Because then I'd have more people to play with. Specials are so bad. Yep, they are. Luckily, he doesn't need them.
No.
But they are bad. Like, Mirror Flame is horrible, not really usable in the air, and the Fire Ring thing, I think, is also a special that's really bad. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. Well, what they're thinking is he's plenty good already. Put all of the remaining moves we took out of his moveset in Pirate Warriors 3 and just throw them in the specials. That's what they did. Kind of lazy, but...
Boy. Out of curry. Everyone's favorite. Seeing him in action is pretty surreal. He just hits everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah.
The Jack has plot armor, so he can put up a good fight. He's going, oh. Dang.
Squid kick.
The mega legs.
They knew what they were doing. They made some special bad. Would you prefer Pirate Warriors 5 after another major arc or after the series is over? I've had two answers for this. In the past, I would have said, like, if Pirate Warriors 5 was released March of this year, I would have obviously said wait and then make another one. Pirate Warriors 3 to Pirate Warriors 4 was 5 years. So if we use that argument, it's not the best argument because I don't think it's realistic. But if you wanted to release Pirate Warriors 5 in 2025, you could. It'd be March 2025, given that every other release has been in March. And then you would get that game, and then it would probably include up to the end of Egghead, probably, and then it would try to make up an ending. I think that would be a good game. I think they should wait a tiny bit longer, just because I think it's too hard to develop. And so I think a Pirate Warriors 2026 release is the smartest. So to answer your question more specifically, would I want it after another major arc or after the series is over? I think after another major arc implies after Elbaf, if that's what you mean. So no matter what, it has to be after Egghead. It's impossible for it not to be. So The only way it's not is if they were like, yeah, it comes out 2 months from now, and we'd be like, what the heck? That would be the only way to sneak us. But otherwise, it would be 2025, and in that case, it wouldn't have enough information during development, because you have to take into consideration during development is before the game is released, obviously, usually about 2 years, sometimes longer beforehand. So if they made a 2025 release, it means they were developing the game in 2023. If we were to look at what was coming out at 2023, it'd be still the end of Wano or something. So, given that that's the case, I would say it's pretty iffy right now. Because they did kind of do that with Pirate Warriors 3 to Pirate Warriors 4. The only arcs that had transpired were Whole Cake Island, if we're being correct. So they waited until Dressrosa ended and then made another game, and that was a 5-year gap, because Oda takes 4 to 5 years between these arcs, starting with time skip arcs, because they're freaking long. So Oda's current arcs are much longer than a lot of the previous old One Piece arcs. They're about 4 to 5 years every single time he pops one out. If we were to use that logic for when the final ends, that means that final should end 5 years after the end of Wano, which is like 2027, 2028, something like that. So I would say that's like the end point. I cannot imagine they will wait until the end of One Piece to do it. I think they'll just wait until a certain, they probably started development on a Pirate Warriors 5 in my brain when Wano ended, which was not that long ago in the anime. But they probably started it right then, which is why I think a 2026 March seems believable. So I think that's what we're gonna get, is a 2026 release of a Pirate Warriors 5. What I would prefer is exactly that. I'd prefer they do exactly what they have been doing, which is after every major arc, just make another Pirate Warriors game. I used to say a different thing. I used to say I hope they just make a really ultimately good Pirate Warriors 5, spend like 4 years developing it or whatever. I just don't think that's real, because Bandai doesn't want that. Why make one big release that sells maybe 20% more rather than 2 releases? So I think they're gonna let it play. They're gonna release a Pirate Warriors 2026 and a Pirate Warriors in 2030. That's what I think. That's what I think they're gonna do, and I kind of prefer it, I guess. Because, now, to be clear, we have not actually legitimately seen a PS5 Warriors game. It hasn't come out. We haven't gotten one. We don't know what that looks like. Koei's most recent release is like Samurai Remnant, and that was for the PS4. It had been in development for a long time. Like 4+ years or something. So, we have no clue what that even looks like. We don't necessarily even know how long it takes to develop a PS5 Warriors game, because it's never been done. So that's what I would say towards that, is I don't know. But I think whatever we get out of a PS5 Warriors game will be great. And I think they would prefer to do that over trying to release another PS4 style Warriors game, because PS5 has shockingly been out for like a long time now. It's kind of funny. But I've said this before. Last time they released like 10 new characters. Technically it was like 16 or something, but then like removed 6 characters. It was weird. They tried to release 10 per game, and last time was the only time they had removed some before. I wouldn't mind 2 more. Yeah, I think that's about right. I think, and I've said this before to homie in the called me Ocleus or whatever. I don't remember how to pronounce your name, to be fair.
Ocleum.
Ocleum. There we go.
Yeah.
Without looking at it, I'm gonna suck. I'm just bad with names. But I talked with Ocleum about this, and I think it's best if they just throw pre-time skip out. I know people will get mad. I think they should throw that out. It saves so much assets, and it saves so much time. And then you can just tell all of post-time skip in one good set of 6 chapters like this game did, and you'll have a better time. It's smarter. There's so little pre-time skip that isn't just fluff at this point. It's like, do we really need Jabra, Kaku, Lucci? Like, you can have new Jabra, new Kaku, new Lucci, that's fine. But remove all the old ones. Remove all pre-time skip stuff, Straw Hats, all the Marineford War stuff, just throw it all out. We don't need it. It's fine. And give us all brand new stages, beautiful, immaculate PS5 graphics stages, whatever. The new era, 1440p gaming, 60 FPS, maybe 120 FPS if we can get lucky. Just make a good ass game. I think you save so many stages. There's like 10-ish pre-time skip stages or something in this game. Not having to make any of them, just throw them away. You get 10 more stages to work with. If you want to remove those characters, there's a couple. There's not actually that many pre-time skip quote-unquote characters. I do think I would be heavy-handed in removing characters more so than most people. Now, if they're not integral to the plot, I would delete them. Now, not to say that I would delete Whitebeard because he had a flashback in Wano, for example, but I'm more heavy-handed because I just want a better video game, and I don't really get upset about losing, like, certain characters if it makes a better video game. And honestly, we get to keep most of them. Like, I don't know. I would just remake them all. But I'm very heavy-handed. Because with a PS5, you can do so much different things with an engine. Gotta hit him at the ice monument. Look at this. You're stuck.
Absolutely nothing he can do.
Absolutely nothing. You're a statue. Hit him with the pheasant pack. Game over.
Like Kizaru, but faster. Ototo. Every character, you get very used to their power dash sound the more you play as them. Ototo.
I would win. Invincible character.
Like, alright. I'm just gonna get this guy. His catchphrase.
So you would cut PTS characters that aren't relevant to the time skip arcs. Exactly, I would do that. It feels bad, but like there's a lot of, especially ally-only characters, right? Your Mr. 1, Mr. 2, Mr. 3, all those Alabasta characters, boom, gone. Jabra, Bueno, chop them all. Obviously, in terms of playable ones, I can like skim through this. PTS 1, 2, 3, 4, update all of the rest. Whitebeard can stay, Marco can stay, he's in a flashback. Ace, you can chop him. I'm holding my hands up. Okay, look, I understand Ace defenders. All right, they're gonna be like, no, Ace can't be removed. He has to stay forever, whatever. If you want to, go for it. Be like, yeah, he has a flashback arc in Wano. Haha, he's in. It's fine. I don't mind chopping him, okay? That's me. Some people, there's no way. He's too fan favorite. I understand. Keep him for the fan favorite. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But I'd be down to chop him. Keep. This one's weird, but keep. Obviously, you could chop this guy. You could chop this guy. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, oh, well, they're relevant. Like, what? But they appear for like a little bit, and you don't need to play as them if we're being really picky about it. I think it's, I mean, They have to be
Pretty minor,
redesigned no matter what. These characters are problems. This one's pretty good, but this one's a really big problem. You either have to full redesign them or chop them. If you feel like you don't have enough time to make a good character out of him, remove him. I'd rather they make him good. I'm just saying. Keep. This is choppable, all right? Not only is he bad, he appears for like a second in Whole Cake Island. He's like, hey, how's it? Oh, he's gone. So you could. I would remake him, but you could chop. These are a lot of the new, worst generation are very cuttable. And it's not their fault, it's Oda's fault. This is a debatable one. I think he'll be relevant, but currently he has done nothing since Marineford, so we haven't seen him PTS. Or, sorry, time skip. We haven't seen him. You could chop this guy. I don't think you should, but I'm just saying. Keep. This is a tough one. He hasn't done anything yet. I would keep him, but Oda got to throw this guy in a battle somewhere. Keep and change. This could be chop. All right? She appears for like a second and fights Blackbeard. If you include that fight, you can make her happen. You could chop her. I would keep her, but you could. Obvious keep. You could chop and you could chop, okay? I know they appear in Punk Hazard. I'm talking, when I say chop, I mean they're not playable anymore, but they appear in Punk Hazard's arc. I like these characters, regardless of how much people like playing as them. They're very rude to them. Oda's very rude to them. You could chop them. I'm just talking a game that's peerless in quality. You're trying to make a really good game. You want to put 20 plus hours in all of the characters. They make them really dense characters. Removing things like these, as hard as it would feel to do so, is important to being able to do that. And obviously, replace him in Green Bull, and you're absolutely correct. That's what I'm saying. And then replace with a new version of him, because he's relevant. He shouldn't be relevant, but he's relevant. So do it. Add Kaku. Just add Kaku. I actually like Kaku. He looks good in the new arc. Keep him. I like the idea of his new moveset too. Keep.
This big technique.
Completely redesign this man. He appears a lot. You can make him good. Throw away. I'm sorry. I love Ivankov. Doesn't matter because the character is hated. Just unfortunate. Throw it. It's sorry. There's no movesets. Half the moveset of this character right now is using a person in their hair. Alright? That is a problem. You could remove this character. You could sideline them. I would keep it, but you could sideline them. You could sideline. You can remove all three of these. You could. I would. I'm not being rude here. Because if you try to compartment, like, Whole Cake is 7 long in this game. If they remade the new, all of the time skip stuff, they're going to want to cut down. And I think these are a good place to cut down. I would keep Reiju, but I'd probably kill these three. They're kind of flavory versions of Sanji. They don't really have that much unique stuff. It's the same thing with Judge. This guy shouldn't have ever been a thing, but still. Smoothie, cuttable. Redacted, cuttable. X-Strike, keep. Killer, cuttable. If you want to give me the Wano one where he throws sickles, that's fine. I'll take it, but he's cuttable. Very cuttable. I like this character a lot. Doesn't matter. He appears and looks at Kaido fall off a cloud. That's what we've seen. That's it. So I like him.
Incredible.
He's looking very cuttable right now. Okiku, cuttable, but I like the character. I would keep. I like this character. Appears twice. Twice. That's 2 times. Appears in Punk. Appears in Wano. You can keep this character.
Dressrosa too. Don't forget.
You can keep Odin. He doesn't appear very much, but he appears just as much as Whitebeard in post time skip, which is enough for me. So this just replaced all of Luffy, obviously. Add this into Kaido. Add this into Shanks. Keep. Throw out. Keep. All right? This is not being rude. Film characters, film characters. All right? They're film characters.
Yeah.
If we allowed every film character, give me my Z. Give me my Goro Tessero or whatever. Like, throw those characters in then. Make a film. People were asking, hey, can I have a film pack where I get Z, I get Goro, I get Uda? And I was like, you know what? They might be spitting. Put that for DLC in 5. People buy it again. Cheat them twice. But yeah, that's my opinion on there. And then for the characters that aren't here, obviously, Garp, obviously keep. Roger, you could keep, it's the same argument as before. Rayleigh, you could keep same argument as before. They all appear in the flashback. It's a very heavy-handed thing to just make the flashback a big deal, but you could make the flashback a big deal if you want. In the actual Wano story. So that's my opinion. But if you cut all those characters, you save a lot of money and time, and you get to really deep dive on improving all of the individual characters and fully fleshing them out. They're going to need a lot of TLC. You know that when they put this Robin transformation in, they're going to have to make her like 700 feet tall, and she's going to break the stage around her. It's going to be a problem. Same thing with this. But I digress. You could definitely do it. That's how I would do it. It would piss off everybody, and I'd be so happy as Bandai. I'd be like, no, my character, I'm so mad. It's like, my favorite characters are like Silver and Koala. I don't expect them in every game. They never appear. So, like, that just happens. You have to eat that. If you want a better game, though, let's have a better game. And with this, you can add Queen, you can add King, you can add some other characters.
All your favorites.
Add all your favorite characters. Add Vegapunk Satellite where you play as Lilith or Shaka. And then you have all of their charge moves be a different satellite. There's 6 satellites. You pick one of them to be the main body. And then C1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the satellites. And in the air, C1, 2, 3, or 5 are the same satellites on the same numbers.
And then bring out main Vegapunk for the Muso special.
Yeah.
Or something.
Like, have the game pan to, like, a room in the skybox where he's, like, in a factory room and he hits a button and, like, a nuke hits or something.
Kind of how I want the new Shanks to be. I want all of his crew members to get in on some of those attacks.
Mm-hmm. I think they might do that in the future. With, like, at least a Muso.
That would work really well for Film Red, because his whole crew is, like, working as a team as well.
Yeah. Shanks' crew and Blackbeard's crew. It's a tough one. I could see maybe a Ben Beckman or a Yasop, just one of them, and then have them use the rest of the summons.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine them any further than that. And then in regards for Blackbeard's crew, none of them do anything. They're all jobbers that have one move, and they all do one thing. It's not their fault entirely. They're just a devil fruit as a character. Like, it's tragic, but they do nothing beside activate their devil fruits.
I think Burgess has a case to be made about being his own character.
He's just bad a rogue.
I guess he kind of is. He just has the muscle fruit now, doesn't he?
Yeah, which is bad a rogue.
I'm curious why he was like, oh yeah, big muscles. That's the fruit that I want. That'll definitely suit me.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Oh, and Shiryu. I think he'd be kind of fun. But we don't know anything about what he does.
It'd be cool to have this character that we don't know anything about.
In theory, he'd be really fun.
Sure, I could make that up for anybody. Add Queen and say that she has the same moveset.
What's his name? The guy with the rum fruit or whatever it is. I don't remember his name. He goes, Dofer.
Add Caribou and be like, yeah, he's relevant. Look, he was in a barrel one time.
Add Caribou. Add Gangster Gastino.
For characters to re-add, I definitely agree with adding back in Caesar. I think on characters you can make work, definitely a Caesar, definitely a Monet. Those are possible. Maybe 5 was supposed to be in this game. I think that's a decent choice.
Mm-hmm. It's like Caesar is like a no-brainer Sky type.
Yeah.
He could possibly be like a Tech type, but he does a lot of flying, so...
They throw out all the types, though, so it doesn't matter. But I think I'm in agreement, though. You just make him, like, move around in the air a lot, have really good set play moves. The Gaimon DLC? Yeah, that's true.
We need the Axe Hand Morgan. We need like the East Blue Villains DLC with Axe Hand Morgan, Don Krieg, and Captain Kuro. That would be incredible.
I'm glad you forgot about the racist one.
Just gonna leave him out.
I always ask my buddies this: who's more racist between Hody and Arlong?
Like in a race system competition.
Yeah.
Like Arlong has acted on it more. No. Question. Well, I don't know. It's kind of a hard question for real. Who's more racist?
You know the difference between you and me? That's what
I
he says
want to
for
say
his special.
Arlong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember my friend made so much fun about his like special and grand battle because you can like fail the QTE. It's like, you know what the difference between you and me is? And if you fail it, he'll just like turn around and go, "You don't deserve to know."
Yeah, he does, yeah.
It's really
the first
funny.
extension he goes, "You know the difference between you and me? You still don't know." And then the final he goes, "Our species." But then if you fail it, he goes, "You know the difference between you and me? You still don't know? You don't deserve to know." And he spills water on the ground and walks away.
He gets like really depressed.
Yeah, it's great.
Start saying Arlong is more racist.
Yeah, I think it's tough for sure. It's like local racism versus political racism.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like he has slave kids in his village and he taxes them until they basically can't pay and then he gets slaves, which is very racist of him. And he believes himself to be superior in every way.
Yeah.
Whereas Hody is like
assassinate political leaders.
Yeah. Zora will never beat the allegations. Oda keeps setting him up. That's kind of true. To be fair, he's kind of like, at least he's like, I don't know. That's a tough one. Because he's like he's kind of straightforward. Like he's just a murderer. So it's like, is that racist by itself?
Yeah,
like he got Dawes Bones arrested, but didn't kill him or anything. And then he tried to attack a white supremacist man named Charlotta or whatever his name is. The Celestial Dragon. He tried to beat that guy's ass. That's like anti-racist. He's making points back.
Karmic justice is balancing itself.
And then he fought a giraffe, which I don't know what to pin that as.
And
then he fought a skeleton of a Japanese man.
He's really...
I don't know. He seems to equally fight everybody. He fought a French guy with a big sword.
Good.
And he fought a helium-voiced giant rock man. I don't know. He's a weirdo. He just kind of attacks everybody. I think he's okay. He's not as bad. The racists are really racist in One Piece.
That's all for the, you know, the theme. The very heavy themes.
Yeah, the least racist guy in One Piece is probably Fujitora.
The least racist. You could make like a racism tier list of the characters in this game.
Well, it's so if you want to go with reverse racism, then it's probably like Sabo or something, or Dragon. because like they're advocates for freedom, which makes
Yeah,
them like kind
Fujitora is
of.
working directly for the dragon, so for the
He
celestial dragons.
is,
I
but
mean,
amongst that faction, he he has a little bit more of a spine than Kizaru. Kizaru kind of lets them go, like whoops, and Fuji's like,
ah,
I didn't see
man.
it, I'm blind. So they kind of go hand in hand in that way, where they let things go all the time. Kuzan kind of
Yeah.
lets things go, but he also fails to do that all the time. Like he actually, like I don't know, he like lets it go halfway.
He just wants to see things play out before he moves in.
Yeah, it's weird to think that
Ryokugi is like
on screen.
Omega racist.
I think it's weird to think that on screen Blackbeard has arrested more people than Kizaru.
That's really funny, actually.
Yeah,
Oh, he's gotta step it up.
yeah. Blackbeard arrests a lot of people in the series. It's like Smoker and Blackbeard.
The narc.
3分やろ
Rocco boy time.
Damn, I don't remember actually if I have the skills on because they get removed all the time. I like don't save every time.
I see.
So it's like I'll put the skills on and then like I don't save. So I like back out of the stage and it never saves.
3分やろ
Which I do on purpose so that I don't have to remember to put things on. But in this context, it's kind of screwing me over. Indestructible wood.
Whoa. I remember when Ryokugi first got revealed. I was in a server talking about it. I was like, oh, maybe he's like a plant Logia. And the server owner was like, no. That's 100% a Paramecia. There's literally no way he could be a Logia. I mean, just think about the logic of that. I was like, alright. And then like one chapter later, it comes out he's a Forest Logia. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, when they said that, I was like, lazy. Like it felt like Oda was just like
Yeah.
backtracking because everybody was saying, "Hey, he's like a Zoan of Cernunnos or whatever." And I was like, "That's a good plan." And then Oda just went, I backtracked." It felt like he backtracked because people guessed it or something.
Maybe. I do kind of like the idea of it being like a Forest Logia, though. And you could
I don't
do, like, a
dislike
Logia.
it. It just
Yeah.
feels like, even to this day, it feels more like a Zoan.
It's very different compared to many other Logias.
Because, like, for me, it's like, so he clearly transforms into something when he does it. It just happens to be like a tree, I guess. And then
Yeah.
somebody tries to burn him, and he's like, nah, doesn't work. And you're like, okay. And his personality is just really bad, so he's like, oh yeah, I don't eat food, I eat people. I'm like, what a weirdo. I haven't eaten in years, but I suck people's blood out for my forest. It's like, how does the forest fruit suck people's blood? What, you a vampire? Like you like digest people's innards with your fruit. That's a forest. I don't know where any of this comes from.
I think it's like, I think the idea is that like branches and like vines will pull the moisture out of other things, and that's kind of the technique he's doing.
You're saying he's crocodile? Because crocodiles doesn't look like that,
of.
but it makes more sense if they were reversed.
Yeah, that's what I want to think. I mean, it could also be just like sucking out their blood, because that could kind of be the intention that he's having.
Well,
Like
he says
he's
it
aiming for
sustains
Bane.
him, which is not the case for Croc. Like, Croc doesn't get hydrated from cutting people, but when
Yeah,
Ryokugu does it, he doesn't have to eat for years. So he eats enough people that he doesn't have to eat himself. Unless
Yeah,
we
they
argue that
shrivel
he
up when
doesn't
he
need to
drains
eat
them.
because he's a tree and he has photosynthesis, which is fine, but
Yeah,
he's a weirdo.
that was
You would
said too.
you would think it's like, oh, does that mean like Kizaru can buff him by using like his light power, or they do like a tag
You
team
know,
attack where he's like greenhouse and it's like what? And he gets boosted.
that'd be pretty fun. They had team attacks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Akainu has no team attacks, but like Kizaru
Yeah,
kind of has team attacks with specifically Kuzan and Ryokugu, and then Fujitora has combos with. I guess you could argue Fujitora has some combos with volcanoes. He could like pull gravity down, and then Akainu could shoot a bunch of molten lava in the air, and he can move the gravity field to pull them
yeah,
in.
you could like name them.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah,
nice
I don't
to
know.
them make more. You have to give them big team attacks, so the developers of these games are forced to make them like squad up like that.
Yep.
You need to have the big fan service attack. Playing Beji, huh? This is interesting.
PNG. Alright.
Mufasa! My friend also liked to joke about how Enel's Kingdom Come is like the father of Big Father in this game. Like Big Father is a direct descendant of that move.
That's true. Turned into the castle. Foreshadowed
Yeah,
it.
just-
Used his mantra.
Carpet bomb an entire area. That was pretty strong. You know, and by base standards. Mufasa! I didn't even kill him. No. I really love the idea of an RTS character in this game. He's just so weak. He could have been real good.
Yeah, this glitch helps a lot, but it's like the only thing he has. So like,
It
if this
was
move
really-
continues even after you like dash out of it,
Yeah.
so you can use it to like build some meter or cancel into specials.
Ghost bullets.
Yeah, it's because they coded it as like a physical attack that like tries to conjure a projectile wall, and they probably were supposed to switch it to a projectile, and they didn't, so it stays active even if you dash out, which is a projectile capability, but it's not actually a projectile, so it's glued to your body.
Interesting.
Like definitely like a weird oversight.
Men are shooting without
Um,
hands being.
What type would he be if he was in this game? Sorry, I don't know what you were saying that to. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying enough attention.
I might be talking about Ryokugi because we were talking about him.
Oh, that makes sense. In this game, he would be a useless type, so they would just put no type on him, you know. No, I think like probably power, but only for the reason that they would want to have extensions on the ground, because we don't see him do anything really in the air. It's kind of annoying to make the character even enter the air for any conceivable reason outside of his human form. unless he just becomes a big Treant or something, but that also doesn't make much sense. So I think more likely than not, he'd just be a power for the lazy factor. Just be like, yeah, well, we get to create all of his moves on the ground, and he's a forest tree guy, and he just smacks people. Like, okay. That or they do a tech type and take all of his air moves away, which is the standard for making your moveset smaller.
I've seen some arguments for tech type Green Vol, but I don't know. I think he'd be better as a power type personally.
I just think tech types are disrespectfully handled in this game, so it's like I just don't want anybody in a tech type.
Doesn't stop me from loving him.
Nah, it's fine to love him. They're good ideas, it's just that they're not actually unique.
Yeah. I want to see at least one Usopp run tonight.
Yeah, I'll do an Usopp after this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So... hopefully that happens even if you get hit.
Win.
Winning. Ground strings in FFB for Dofi would be so good. Kinda, they suck because Sky type meme, but I agree with redesigning him and just being like, remove the whole tech, or the whole ground air thing. I think you, like, I know this sounds crazy. I think you could redesign every character in this game to effectively be a tech type, and it would be a better game. Because I think it lends itself to a faster game. I think Sky types are too fast, like insofar as they have no extensions. The tech types feel about right with how long their extensions go for. They just suck. And that's not like entirely their fault. So like, use an example, and this is not a perfect example either. But Boa used to have really long strings, and she does have some wind-up stuff on her stuff. But like, the way strings work for these characters, as you can see on the right side, or it says on land or whatever, is they get 2 extensions, the first and then the second one. I call it 2 extensions even though it would be 1. So I press triangle here, and she does this kick. And I press it one more time, and she does this ender. Right here. So like, every character could be designed this way, where they have double ender. They would just have to code the second ender, in my opinion, to be faster. Like in this case, this looks about right, for C4. Like boom, ba ba ba, right? It feels like about the right length. Some characters, this is like way longer. So she goes boom, and then boom for this move. So like, characters in this game feel about right. And if tech types are the characters in this game that normally have the same mechanic, but also in the air. So most tech types have 2 extensions in the air and on the ground. Powers have 3 on the ground and 1 in the air. Speed have 1 on both. And Sky have 1 on the ground and 3 in the air. They're reversed. So I think like going with that logic, right? By looking at like Law or Kuzan. we can see that they have 2 in the ground, 2 in the air, and if you just clean them up, they're on the right side, you can see it. This would make sense, right? You would just go, yeah, look, he goes boom, bop, or he goes boom, bop. Boom, right? So bam, bam, boom, bop, right? They're concise, but they still are extensions. So if the devs get to add, you know, unlocking the extensions. It's so hard to count this move.
It's a very awkward string.
Yeah. Okay. Right, so like, that's kind of what I mean. The problem is that a lot of the tech types are really unfinished, so people would normally disagree with this. Because they'd be like, well, you want them all to suck. I'm like, no, that's because the devs are hilarious. And they coded a lot of these characters to have, like, really... Like, look how fast this string is, right? Boom, bop, boom. That's just good. Boom, boom, bop. Boom, bop. That's great. Boom, bop. Wow, there's... Bam, bam. Boom, bop. These are great. Even this one's fine. Like, these are great strings, their lengths feel right, and it means that you don't have, like, this weird thing where characters are good on the ground, or good on the air, or bad on both, or don't have air strings, or you just remove all of that BS, and you go, no, everybody just has good moves on the ground and air, and they function. And the amount of moves a tech type has compared to a power type, it's like 19 moves versus 18. It's more because they're weird extra move. Because for every ground string, they get 1 less, but on every air string, they get 1 more, assuming characters have completed movesets. The problem is, most tech types in this game have incomplete movesets. They're missing all their air strings. That's just because the devs were pushed for time, right? We can look here, and we can see he doesn't have air moves. This is the bigger problem with tech types, is they just don't have air moves. So he goes, oh, yeah, let me do my extra moves. Oh, wait, I'm missing my moveset. Power type characters, this doesn't feel as bad on, because for power types, they're like, oh, well, all my moves are on the ground. But imagine you were playing a sky type, I know this is insane, with no air strings. That would be trash, right? I agree. It would be. Luckily, it doesn't exist, but it would be.
The sky type with no air combos.
Yeah. Well, look at Tashigi here. It's like, sky types, some of them are like this. Let's count the moves here. We have her whole square string, which will count as 1 move. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 moves. And then the 2 in the air. 10, 11. Okay. Well, we have like 10 moves or whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11. Whatever. So, we could count them here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. 11 moves. That's a small moveset. Now we go to a tech type who has the same problem. And we can go, okay, what Hawkins or whatever I was looking at. One called does for some reason. AJ, I don't know. There's a billion of them because the game's filled with them. Literally like Boa, Buggy, Beige, Barto, like bam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Mind blown. They have 1 extra move. Like, it's crazy. Because if we look, the C1, it doesn't have an extension with any character in the game. So it's universal. So you actually have like a little less in some context. But yeah, Beige has more moves because there's not that many added strings when you're a speed type. Like they add like an extra 2 or 3 square moves, and so you get an extra 1, 2, 3 moves. And the quote-unquote end of the square string is the same regardless. If you count every square press as its own move, then you get kind of a closer to the same number. Because you get like an extra, instead of 5 here, you get like 8 or whatever it is. And you could count for that, meaning that Tashigi has 14 attacks or something. Or she has 10 and then 8, so it's like 18. And instead for him, he'd have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. But he would have less. Now, this isn't including his triangle square attacks, it's 17. But you can see they're like weirdly low. Yo, Royce, how's it going? Royce Reese. I don't know which one you are. No, yeah, so you can see like this is unfortunate. You don't have to experience this problem as much with power types, which is what adds to their efficiency in this game. Because you get what's up? You know, just hanging out talking about Power Wars 4, just like kind of talking a little bit about Power Wars 5 before I play a little bit more. I'm gonna play Usopp before I end, and I have a thing at I think at 7. So
And I'm here
one
too.
sec. Soon. So I do have to go soon, but we're gonna play Usopp after I go over this. I'm playing right now. It's awesome. That's goated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 16. So we have 16 moves here, because even though he doesn't have his air strings, he has tons of ground strings. So it's like, this, it creates an imbalance. So I would, if it was up to me, I'd be like, hey guys, let's all focus up, cut it down, get everybody to a tech type vibe, and we all have a good time, That's what I would probably switch it up to. Obviously just make them finished. And don't call it tech type, just call it character.
Character.
Just don't have the types. I don't think the types are bad, but I would probably go back to the drawing board, just like remove them.
If they're gonna be like limiting like this, then
Yeah, the limiting factor is what feels bad about it. Like, they're also just very not clearly balanced. They added like a lot of things to try to make them feel a little better or worse. Like if we go to, I think it's glossary or whatever. I don't remember actually where this is. Not here. I forget where they store these. Maybe they are on the classroom. Doesn't seem like it. Am I forgetting where this is? I swear I looked at this more recently. Have you finished One Piece yet or nah? Finished One Piece. I'm caught up.
You finished
Yes.
One Piece.
I'm caught up.
You've been in contact with Oda.
Yeah, I've been in contact with them. We're getting. Are you trying to find the types description? Yeah, isn't it like you hit a button on a screen or something? It's probably like in here, right? And then you press, like you go to a menu like R1s, some, like in one of these. Yeah, it's in Tactics then. So like if you look here, right? Power type. When an enemy is hit by a smash, hits a floor or wall, a shockwave is sent out and hits surrounding enemies. If you look at this in game, it just means that the AoE is slightly higher. It actually makes the damage a little higher too. It doesn't say that. Speed. Stamina usage is reduced during Power Dash. This is weird because there's not many things that use stamina beside Power Dash. But yeah, they just take 50% less stamina. This one, fair enough. Yeah, I won't spoil. Technique type. Performing X while doing a charge attack will release an attack all of a sudden and drawing them towards you. This by itself will be fine if you could cancel out of this move. Like imagine you press square, square, triangle, square, and it does the attack and it immediately went into a combo without needing to dash. This would be a good move. Problem is launchers are generally better. So it's like, wait, why do I need this? Unless it's a huge move that pulls them all in. In which case I could see it being pretty good. I would have swapped this for like special damage up or something. This is like the full force burst, or this is sky types. Look at this. Become invincible during Power Dash. Power Dash can continue until stamina runs out. Enemies above the ground can be caught up in your Power Dash. Can use stamina to start an attack while falling in the air attack. It costs half stamina bar. It's like, that's crazy. Then you go to the full force burst. Attack strength increases 30%. Smash attacks are even more powerful. This is what makes them go from 0.1 to 0.3. Speed type. Stamina usage is greatly reduced. Makes like 90% reduction. Technique type. A special trait of the characters are powered up. For Uta, this is nothing. It does nothing to her. So you're lying. Sky
Aw,
type full
man.
force burst. Gain the ability to float constantly. Stamina usage is reduced during a power dash. Okay, just to be clear here, this is also dropping one other explanation. It's not just that. This effect, the can use stamina to start an attack when falling after an air attack, that becomes costless during full force burst. Instead of half a stamina bar. But it's like, wow. Okay. That's not very like even. Right? Like seems a little irregular. I'm trying to get year 5. No, I know a lot of people don't even watch One Piece now a lot in Kick Island right now. Sounds good. Let's go to Usopp before I switch up. I equip this during this. I did okay. Question mark. Do I don't think this is necessary or works. This is fine. Sorry, I couldn't play Usopp for the final game. I had to play this guy instead, but it's close enough.
Oh, I'm so happy to see him. The enemy just cannot react.
Like a T-poses in there. Ooh.
Get him in the net. There's nothing you can do. He's cracked. He's the Sniper King.
Look him run. Go crazy.
Forget Zoro kills Kaido. It's all about Sogeking kills Kaido.
I'm gonna get to him before I run out. No, my power. It's gone.
He's awakening. His hubris.
Hit him with the hammer.
Hit him with a hammer until he dies.
The true sniper way. So you grinding abs- No, I have everything maxed. I'm a speedrunner. I just speedrunning various stages with different characters, kind of addressing strats with the characters by showing them off. So is Roger DLC done and we're just waiting for it, or are they still touching them up? They're touching up Rayleigh and Garp probably a lot. If Garp has any actual submission moves, they have to do a lot of work, because grappling characters in this game is really demanding on like the engine. There's very few grapples in this game. There's like Urog's power bomb is one of them, so it's pretty
Sabo's
rare.
got one.
Huh?
Sabo's got one.
Sabo has one where he grabs your head and crushes you. There's a couple, but not very many. Lucci has one where he dunks you into the ground. So there are a few, but it's really demanding on the game to do that to every type of enemy. Whitebeard kinda has one. I don't know if he does anymore. He used to have one where he grabbed you and he'd slam you into the ground, but I don't actually think he has it anymore.
A grappler would be cool if they can do it right.
I
Cause
don't
yeah,
think
it's
he
tricky.
does anymore, right? Oh, he might have one on a special move or something? He has a grab. What do you mean? He used to. I don't think he has one anymore. He used to be triangle, square, square in the older games. Is it a special move? Okay, yeah, on a special. That makes sense. They just grabbed his old special move and put it on here. There you go. Heroic genius. Yeah, so these are hard to make mostly. I think Blackbeard has one, right? Where C2 or something, he grabs you and slams you. I don't know if this is special on this. But yeah, a couple characters have it. But grabs are annoying, and so there's a different state that Garp used to put you in, where he would grab you and like bury you into the floor and stuff like that. There's not very many of those in this game. So if they want to keep some of his old stuff or like add on top in a fun, convenient way, they should redesign him. He should also be able to grab bigger targets. Obviously not Jack. It'd be funny too, but probably not. Denial of obsession. So like, so yeah, like, I'm gonna start whistling on people. Oh. Why does it go so high? Alright, so yeah, he has this. And like that has its own unique animation. Try not to kill this guy I want to show off the attack on. Alright, so like, see how it like didn't hit him? You would probably want to make that work for a Garp if that was like a signature element of his game design. Now it could just be not a signature element of the new Garp design, but like, you want this to work on everything. Flex on him.
The muscle tornado.
Yeah, that move's funny because like it won't knock anybody back, so you like question if you hit it, and then they're all dead.
It's just shouting at them.
It's
like Conqueror's hockey.
Conqueror's hockey confirmed.
It's good. I swear, once we finally get like a big interaction with your Rouge, it's gonna turn out that he has Conqueror's hockey. I'm sure of it.
They did troll everybody and say he's like the best honk hockey there ever was.
I mean, who knows? We really know nothing about your Rouge. Or next to nothing.
We just know he's the Mad Monk. That he says conk in the air over and over again. Devil Fruit makes him bigger and stronger every time he gets hit. Flexed on him. I wonder how they went about getting Roger in the game. Such a odd choice, but a very good one. They just probably saw the flashback in the anime and they were like, damn, this flashback goes hard, and they decided to add them all.
We can work with this.
That was honestly the reason. They just saw the flashback and they're like, wow, Prime Beard, Roger, Odin, young Rayleigh, This looks sick. And then they just said, we could add young Garp. And that would make sense. And then they did. That was the whole of it.
I have he believes that Roger's gonna have a special where he clashes with Whitebeard. Like Whitebeard appears and they clash, and that's the special. And I bet him that they weren't gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't think they will. It'd be very funny if, like, yeah, like just a giant enemy hit him from the sky. It didn't have to be Whitebeard. It would make more sense if it was. Just went, woo, bam, and he just went, and then everybody around him just got blown away and died.
Yeah.
That would
I
be
hope
sick.
Rayleigh has a move. I hope Rayleigh has a move where he puts up his hand. It's just like a hockey blast. Like when he demonstrated armament hockey to Luffy, when he was training him. He just put up his hand to the elephant and went boom. I hope he has something like that. That would be fun.
They need okay from Oda to put them in. Nope. They don't necessarily need anything from Oda, because like Bandai owns those rights for the game. If they had to talk to Oda every single time they wanted something added, it'd probably really wrap things up in a bad way. Obviously, they can't. He has like final approval of his stuff probably, so they can't be like, hey, we wanted to add like, we want to make a Luffy 18+ game. Like they don't have flexibility like that. But they do, on the other hand, like, I don't think they have to ask him about specific permissions. Like if they go, hey, we're thinking of adding like Koala, I don't think they have to run those by him. It's not like he picks the characters. But they're like, yeah, we want Nojiko. He's like, sure, Nojiko. Like, I don't think that happens. But from the
like, hey, we want to add rocks, and I was like, oh man.
Tight Kubo has kind of described this process a little bit, where he said that like games will go over his desk, is how he says. So like people will pitch a game to him, and they'll like slide it past him, and he signs, and then the game gets made. So there is an approval process, but it's usually just like, hey, Bandai wants to make a Warriors game, and he goes, oh, another Warriors game, and he signs it. And it might include things they're thinking of including, but if they had to have everything pre-designed before coming to Oda, it would suck for development. Imagine you're trying to make a One Piece game. You're like, okay, so we have this idea for a One Piece game, and these things will be in it. And he goes, can you tell me everything that'll be in the game in detail before you make the game? And it's like, no. We kind of can. Like, we can basically say, hey, these characters are going to appear in the game. That probably does run by him, and he probably has final say in that kind of regard, but I don't think he's actually approving them one by one. When they want to do a DLC, I'm sure that kind of goes through his desk. Hey, we're going to make DLC. Do you want us to do that or not? Like, because some developers might not want DLC. Maybe they're like, I think it's a terrible practice. And then maybe he could say no to that. I just don't see Oda doing that. So yeah, I don't know the process in detail, but I would assume it depends on whatever his merchandising deal is with Bandai. In detail. But they just go up to Oda and they're like, hey, we're adding Roger and these characters. We're gonna add these 9 characters to Pirate Wars 4. And he goes, okay, and he signs a piece of paper. That's very likely what it is. Because otherwise, imagine the exact opposite situation, which they don't have to request him for any DLC. They go, hey, we made a DLC, and so it's going to have Foxy. It's going to have, like, that chick with the square hair from Water 7. And this character. And maybe Oda's like, I don't really like those characters anymore. I don't really want them in games, whatever. Or maybe they're offensive or something. And he just doesn't want the characters in anymore. Whether it be, like, maybe Gaimon's offensive to him. I doubt it. But just as an example. And he's like, I don't really approve of that character anymore. I made him back in like 7,000 years ago at the beginning of One Piece. I don't really want to do that again. And then you go, okay, fine. Like that random buggy guy that changed from black to white and white to black. That guy's a little odd because of weird dubbing. And it's like maybe he doesn't want that guy to appear in the game. I don't know. Well, a decent situation is like maybe if Arlong was one of the only racist characters in the series and he's like, I just don't really want to have Arlong in the games. That would probably be something he could veto. He's like, yeah. Don't really want him in. Please don't. And they're like, okay. We won't have him. Have you seen the meter build on this move? On Mihawk, by the way? with the new top of the world meme.
I don't believe I have.
Yeah, just look at the meter build on this. It's pretty funny.
Oh
To
boy.
make sure there's no bomb guys nearby, so I have to be careful. One sec. Okay, these guys are spike guys instead of bomb guys. They can spawn as bomb guys. Alright, look at this. They were
Wow.
like, they were like, oh, that's sick. That's good.
Just like that. V-Hawk is crazy now, isn't he? Not that he wasn't crazy before, but
Yeah, he was crazy before, but it's just funny the amount. I know why this move specifically builds a ton, but it's just funny. Because it's like coded, each of the projectiles is coded as like a 1.0 meter build.
right.
So it's just like, whoop, meter. It ends up building a lot, so you can just do this move and chop and then build it again and do it again. And chop and then build it again and do it again.
I love Mihawk in this game.
I do not go for like this thing. I know people like will charge his combos up and do them a lot. I just do this one. Like the damage doesn't change on the charge level between that move and like the damage sort of changes, but it only changes because of the damage increase on the mode itself.
Right.
So oftentimes when I'm playing as him, it's like, well, if I want to do something on the ground, I just do this string. It's like plenty good.
He still can't kill Buggy.
Yeah, that's a problem. Well, he can't kill a lot of things, right? So he has killed zeroed characters in the entirety of the series. He's chopped ice a couple times. Like if we're being rude to his feats on purpose, which I love doing that because it's funny. His feats are cutting things. Like he loves cutting objects. He's like, damn, I cut a boat once. I cut that piece of ice. I sliced the diamond guy and he took 0 damage. And then I cut Buggy and he turned into little paper shreds and reassembled himself. And then I fought Vista for 5 hours. And then we told each other that we probably should stop. And then I left the battlefield as soon as my buddy came. I'm like, wow, what a great track record.
He's just bored, guys.
He hates ice and boats. He definitely hates ice and boats. Probably watched Titanic too many times. And he's scarred for life. Really like Leo. I was using him earlier with your Cheat Ninja table. Getting full charge with FFB would be nuts if you had that. Yeah, it would be insane. Be like, oh yeah, for sure. He just like I can turn that on for a second, but like I have to go after this. But let's see here. Here's mods, hockey. There we go. Yeah. I have to. Okay. Yeah, this would be him if he had the charge like all the time. Right? So now he just goes bam. Right.
You have like on a mod on to give him his charge like really fast.
Yeah, it just makes it max charge all the time.
Oh, I see. It took me a second to be like, wait, there's something kind of off here.
Yeah, so the question or the statement in chat was imagining if this was the FFB effect, right?
Yeah. Maybe
And it's like you can see why it's not.
Doesn't stop them from making other characters that good anyway.
Yeah. And that combo is pretty strong, but this is kind of stronger.
It's such a silly move to be the strongest.
Like, it is very silly. I prefer the old Mihawk design a little bit. I don't dislike this one, but I prefer the old one. I like the idea when he used to have a UA, and then he would do this move, basically, and it would charge his stage 1.
That'd be interesting.
An alternative one that I would be okay with in this one is if every time you performed a charge move and it completed, it would charge up his blade by 1. And then you could dash out of it, right? Like this. Problem is he enters the air too often. But imagine if that kept his charge or upped his charge by 1. So you wouldn't have to go for the ender of this. You could go for any ender and get an extra charge when you press square. Just imagine like how Shanks works right now, right? Where you press square at the end of a string instead of dashing out.
Yeah.
And you would get an extra charge. I think doing that style, but for Mihawk would be the best.
I definitely think they could handle his mechanic better in some way anyway.
Yeah, I liked it a lot in Pirate Warriors 3 and 2. It was like fun to use. You do like this basically. Like imagine this charges you. You would press this and then you would do this. And it would maintain the charge. So you go boom, bop, 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 boom. And then you would do this. And then you would go into this move again because it's an R1 pressing move. And then it would charge you up another stage. And then you would do it again, step cancel out of it. So it would look like this. And then it would reset you back to level 2 again. So then you'd go to 2, then you press R1, then you go to 3, then you press R1, then dash out, then R1, then square, then triangle, triangle, and then R1, and then square, triangle. Like, that's how you would do it. And he used to have a really broken move on his C5 where he shot like a... 1, 2, 3, 4... I don't remember if he has it in this game. 1, 2, 3... He doesn't have it. He used to have an X-shaped projectile that's kind of like the one they gave Shanks. Just bigger. He used to cut twice in front of him, like boom, boom, and then went... I believe the animation for it was this slash and this slash. So it's basically kind of like... Yeah, it's these slashes, the last two. Slash, slash, these two uppercuts.
I see.
It was that animation for his C5. And he would do those cuts, and it would shoot an X-shaped projectile across the screen. And it went really, really far. It went, like, as far as this last one. And so what you would do is you would do, like, these dashes sideways. And then you would shoot, like, you go boom, 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 boom. And then you would go boop, and then shoot a giant X and one-shot every boss in the game.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah, so he was like a sniper before. You'd play him, like, really far away. But...
Sniper Mihawk.
Which is accurate to Marineford, I guess. Because, like, he tried to snipe a boat from really far with a blade wave. His feat in, like, Stampede, where he cuts the meteor into pieces from his boat. That's also a sniping feat. He is deceptively far-reaching with his sword in canon. Like, he cuts the iceberg and it's not even near him.
I love the anime logic of, like, swinging your sword so good that it just, like, cuts things that are a mile away.
Yeah. The end of Film Red Shanks Square String. Yeah, it's kind of like that. I'll show it really quick. It's similar in idea to this move. It just used to go much further than this move. But it's like this move. Boom, boom, that. So he used to do this projectile move at the end of his... for his C5. And it would just kill everything. And that was like him to a T. It was just shooting these and dashing and then shooting them again. Like this. With a bunch of like R1, like attack cancel stuff. He's really cool. But like those old games are very weird. Playing Nell in those games, you're just playing DDR or something with your controller. Like triangle. I remember the combo was like, it's tx square x square x square square x square x square x square x triangle x square x square x square, like that. How you're playing him constantly. It's like boom, dragon. The screen wipes. Kingdom Come, boom, screen wipe. Kingdom Come, boom, screen wipe. Max meter again, FFB, disable it. Jolungal, Kingdom Come, screen wipe. Kingdom Come, screen wipe. Because games are weird. Like your FFB would trigger a lot of your mechanics, and then you could use those to build max bar, and then turn the FFB off, and then use the bar to build your FFB back to full, and then loop it. Because in those games, when you activated your equivalent of an FFB and turned it off, it went to 25% from 100%, instead of in this game where it only goes down by like 10% and it keeps it where it was. Back then it was like, oh, if you have 4 bars of Kazuna, it'll drop you to 1 bar of Kazuna. You're like, okay. But then you could do 1 Kingdom Come and then build back up to 4, so it doesn't matter. It does 2 Kazuna, or you does 2 Kingdom Comes with 1 or with 4 bars. So it's just like, oh, I get 2 full screen wipes. Sick. All right, well, take care, everybody. It was fun streaming again. Catch me next time. I'll do the same thing. I'll jump on with a friend of mine while playing some Power Wars 4 and just talking, having a good time. Take care.
Awesome.
Peace.
Goodbye, everyone.